Hi yogis! Today we're going to be exploring fusion. This style of exercise is a collaboration of Pilates, yoga, and dance. And a little bit of fitness and bar in there as well, but primarily those three. Since this is a yoga class, I'm going to be weighing heavily on the yoga component of those three. As always, please make sure to modify your movements. So anything that you can do standing, you can also do prone or laying on your back. I'm going to show some recommended modifications. You can always fast forward to where the video begins. You don't need any props for this practice, but if I was going to suggest a prop, I would say 2 blocks or books. All right, let's get started. Modifications for this practice. So for child's pose, you can always lay on your back and hug your knees in towards your chest. So this goes if you've had any recent ankle or past ankle or knee injuries that might flare up during your practice. This is a good modification for child's pose. Any lunging postures, again, going for your knee. You can always do that laying down. So you can begin to bend almost like a half reclining big toe pose, and then extend the lower leg and flex it. And then extend your arms almost as if you're hovering halfway in between, and think about trying to get that knee as much as possible towards your chest. And then there's the variation of having your hands on the inside. You can always hug that knee now towards the outside, trying to reach it as much as you possibly can higher than the elbow. That may or may not happen, and you're squeezing the outside of the arm into the knee and the knee into the upper arm. And you're really going to work on increasing flexibility and strength that way. So just know that there's always a way to modify and turn your practice to be a safe one. For fusion today, we're going to start standing up, and we're going to start with our legs out wide, straddling either side of our mat. So I'm going to face you, and you're more than welcome to face the side of your mat, or you can also straddle your mat this way and face the side. Again, it's all about preference right now on your mat. And then we're going to start by slowly taking a nice deep breath in and take the shoulders up towards the ears for our pranayama today. And then exhale, draw the shoulders down the spine and down. Do that 2 more times. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, taking your body skin and toes all the way to crown of the head, honoring any points in your body where you might need to take it slow or modify, and exhale, draw the shoulders down. Now we're going to add a little bend before and after. Bend the knees, inhale, shrug. Exhale, draw the shoulders down, bend the knees again. Inhale up. Exhale, down, knee bend. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, down, knees bend. Take the ear towards the shoulder and hold. We're going to take the hand out, thumb reaching towards the midline or center of the body, and then we're going to rotate out. In, and out, and in. 2 more, out, and in, and out, and in. And then we're going to look towards that shoulder, and then we're going to draw a U with our chin going down, dipping, 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 dipping over towards the other side, and then coming back all the way around towards the center. We're going to do the same thing other side. So we're going to drop ear towards shoulder, thumb reaching towards the middle or the center of the body, and then we're going to rotate that thumb out and in, and out, and in, and out, and in. 2 more, out, and in, and out, and in. Drop the hands, look towards the shoulder, draw the U shape, chin tucks down towards the chest, rolls over towards the other side, and woo, up and over towards the front. We're going to look to the right and back towards the center. Might be opposite for you guys. Left and towards the center. As long as we're looking right and left, you're good. See a little mobility through the cervical spine and through the neck. Nice, you guys. From here, we're gonna lift up our heels and then place our heels down. Lift and lower, awakening those calves. If this is too wide of a stance, you can always move the legs in. 2 more. Inhale up, exhale down. Slowing it down, one last one. Inhale up, exhale down. Nice, you guys. From here, we're going to turn our toes out at a 45-degree angle, extend the arms on out, and then we're going to bring our hands in like we're holding a beach ball, and then extend our arms out. 10, 9, see if we can really engage our core here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to add a grand plie in second position. For those of you who have taken dance, to bend is what that translates to. If it's too much on the knees, then just continue with the arms. Otherwise, when our arms come in, we're going to bend our knees. And we're going to make sure that our knees are tracking over our first and second toe. And if you need to take even a wider stance to make that possible, you can, or a narrow stance. So just take that plie and notice where the knees are tracking. And notice if your knees want to turn in or overly extend out. Just being very mindful of your alignment. And then we have a strong core, so we're not dumping forward. Think navel to spine and straighten. So that's going to be our movement. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms, bend the knees, bend the elbows, and straighten. 10, 9, you guys are doing great. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold here, and we're actually going to lift up our right heel. Lifting up 1, 2, holding that beach ball shape. See if we can relax and soften the shoulders away from the ears. 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to switch other side. Left heel. Whoo! 2. You guys are doing great. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. From here, we're going to open, extend the arms. We're going to swoop in our left forearm towards our left thigh, and we're going to take that right palm, lift it up, and reach over towards the other side. Really elongating out of our side, and we're definitely starting to feel it in those legs. Woo! Good job. Come back up towards that starting shape, and up. Whew. All right, other side. So we dip down low. We come back into that beach ball shape. We're going to take our right forearm towards our right thigh. And then we're going to take that other hand and we're going to swoop it on over. Double check, where's our knees at? Are we leaning forward? See if we can find that length there. And then come back up. Whew. Nicely done, you guys. Heel toe, the feet on in, and we're gonna face sideways for this next one. Finding mountain pose. Feet are going to be hip distance apart, and we're going to roll, reaching down with the crown of our head, little micro bend in the knees, and we're gonna roll down, crown of the head comes down, and then my shoulders roll in, and my abdominals kind of tuck in and under, so I'm really rounding my spine. I'm rolling all the way down. And then from here, I'm going to roll all the way back. My hips tuck under, then my vertebrae unwind and wind and wind and wind, shoulders unwind and roll back, and then my head comes back up. We're going to do that for a total of 5. Rolling down, rolling down, rolling down, rolling down, rolling down, rolling down. Rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. And play with your breath here. Maybe you inhale as you fold forward. And maybe you exhale as you fold down. And then maybe you change your breath on that one. Take a nice deep breath in. Maybe exhale as we roll down. And we inhale as we come up. And notice for you, what breath helps you with this movement? And continue on with that breath for our last two. And you might find that you have a little bit more mobility in the hips, allowing you to fold forward in this modified Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Nice, you guys. We're gonna hold this position and we're gonna find a little micro bend in the knee. We're gonna engage navel to spine, and our arms are gonna come out to a T. So I'm gonna face you guys just because I don't have this space. And my arms are gonna be out into a T, and I'm gonna round. So I'm gonna come back into that beach ball shape, and I'm gonna round my spine. If I was to face sideways, it's not the most pleasant looking shape. We're definitely not gonna wanna come around walking around like this, and then we're going to open back up to that shape we were. So we have to use that pathway we took earlier to get back to standing, unraveling vertebrae by vertebrae, and then just shoulders roll down, and then we're back up. So we're going to do that for 5. Roll, contract, and open up. 4, 3. Might notice my counting's a little different. 2, last one. And come back up. Arms float up and down. Nice, you guys, you're doing great. Okay, so we're facing towards our side. We're gonna take a half sun salutation. So this might look a little bit more familiar like yoga. So we're gonna inhale, reach our arms on up. Exhale, we're gonna fold forward. Again, I don't have much space, so my hands are gonna come down through the center of my body. I'm gonna roll down. Now I'm leaning with my chest, and then everything kind of folds forward. Different pathway there. I'm gonna take my right hand right underneath my nose, and I'm gonna keep the bend in my right knee, but I'm gonna straighten my left, and my left arm's gonna open, so I'm in a rotation here. I'm gonna try and stack my shoulders on top of each other, so notice where that top arm might wanna go. And then I'm gonna come back down, and then I'm gonna switch over. So now my left hand's gonna go right underneath my nose, left knee stays bent, and then I'm gonna open up my whole right side of my body. So my right leg's gonna straighten. And notice here where your weight wants to shift. So try and keep your hips right over where your heel is, and that there's equal footing so you can lift and move your toes if needed. You can be up on your fingertips or you can be completely flat. For me, I'm not feeling as open, so I'm gonna be up on my fingertips. Again, try and stack and then roll on down. Rolling back up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms float up, palms connect. Exhale, hands at heart center. I'm gonna come back into a chair pose. Sit bones are gonna reach on back. I'm gonna engage my core muscles here. Hands can come to prayer, or they can come on your hips. It's entirely up to you. And we're gonna alternate lifting up our heels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna fold back and forward. And I'm gonna try and lift my heels on up. And I'm gonna scoop my hands behind my heels, and I'm gonna try and balance there. If you're like, ooh, I don't know, shimmy, then you can do the opposite, and you can actually lift up your toes and place your hands underneath and give your hands a nice little massage with your feet. Again, if you're like, that's even still not possible for me, then just kind of fold forward and just give your calves a nice little break as you find a forward fold. You can also use blocks out in front, okay? So there's a lot of different maneuvering and options that you can play with in this variation. If we're holding onto our heels, we're really gonna be narrowing in on the floor right in front of us. I'm gonna be even looking a little bit forward or right underneath my nose. I'm not gonna be looking back at my heels because then that's gonna trigger me to wanna do a somersault. And that's not what I wanna do. We're gonna hold here for 5, 4, whatever variation you're taking, 3, 2, 1, lower the heels, roll on up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Head, reach arms up overhead, palms connect, exhale. Thumb meets sternum, hands at heart center. Nice, you guys. Wiggling those toes. Ooh. All right. The first option is if your stability is a little off today, then I suggest going through this pathway, okay? So first option is I'm towards the top of my mat. I'm gonna come back into that chair pose, so I'm gonna bend back on my exhale, and then I'm going to fold all the way down, and my left foot's gonna come back into a lunge, and my left hand is gonna replace where my foot was. My knee is gonna be right in line with my heel, whole foot flat, and I'm gonna drop my back knee for a little bit more stability. If you need a little bit more cushion for that knee, you can add a blanket, or like we talked about in the beginning of class for a modification, you can do this whole sequence laying down. And then begin to rotate that right hand up. So we've got another twist in here, okay? So this is option 1. If you're going with option 1, stay here. Option 2 is we're going to fold on down. We're going to bring our left elbow across towards our right thigh. This takes a lot of balancing. I'm going to make sure that all of my weight goes over my right foot, and I'm going to lift my left heel. So I'm going to make sure that I've got transference of weight here, and then I'm going to lift that leg and I'm going to bring it back into that twist. So again, you're either in this modified prayer twist or you're here. Option 1 or option 2, it's entirely up to you. Finding your breath, really important in this practice that we are breathing. I'm really pushing out through that back heel. If we're here in this lovely little option 2, I'm going to drop my back knee, I'm going to lift my hands on up, and I'm going to fold on forward where we're all going to meet up. If I'm in option 1 and I'm twisting here, I'm going to drop my back knee if I haven't already, and I'm going to just bring my other hand on in. Okay. So as I mentioned at the beginning of class, you can have the use of blocks. If you're feeling really tight in the hips, I suggest for this next round that you use blocks. Otherwise, we're going to continue on. Instead of rounding your spine, see if you can really lengthen out. So really press that chest down towards the ground and lift the shoulders on back so we have lengthening. At the same time, we don't want to over rotate and round our spine going the other way. So we don't want to round here, and we don't want to overextend and arch our back. So we want to find that same lengthening and engagement through our core. We're going to begin to come into a half split. So we're going to lift our toes on up, and then we're going to come back forward. So we're going to be doing this type of flow. If you want to stay there, you can stay there. Again, if you're using blocks, you would have your blocks moving forward and back. We're framing our front foot with our hands, toe leads up, and then places down. Now we're going to take our hands towards the inside of our legs, and our knee's going to be hugging into the outside of our upper arm. And same thing, we're going to find length here. And this is something that I have to constantly remind myself during my practice, is to find length. I tend to round a lot. Notice if you might do the same. Whole foot on the ground, back knee is down. If you want to go a little deeper into the psoas, you can lift up that back knee. It's entirely up to you. If this is too easy for you, you can always turn your knee out at a 45-degree angle, lift the toes, that's going to engage the muscle fibers around the knee, and then you can come on down onto the forearms if you want. Again, it doesn't really matter if you can get your forearms down or not. The main thing is you don't want to force anything. So if you're down there and you're trying to get your forearms down, there's no need for it. Just come on back. Practicing ahimsa, non-violence. We're going to take 2 rounds of breath here. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Inhale, bring that hand on the other side of the foot. Walk the foot on in. We're going to tuck the back toes under. Lift on up as if we're getting ready to do a runner's lunge. The back leg to the front, and we're going to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Float those arms on up. Palms connect, exhale, hands at heart center. We're going to do the same thing other side. So again, we have option 1 and option 2. Option 1, we fold on down. We replace our right foot with our right hand as we take it back. Drop that back knee, make sure whole foot on the ground, knee not going past the heel, and then we rotate. That same rotation that we did standing in Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Check what's going on with that hand. You're going for option 2. We're going through chair pose. So we're taking the sit bones back, Utkatasana. Hands come into a prayer. We take the right elbow across the left thigh this time into a twist. We really make sure that we transfer our weight over first. So can I lift that right heel? And if I can't lift my right heel, then I might want to go with option 1. And then from here, once I feel that I have most of my weight onto that left leg, then I can shoot that right leg back, and now I have my whole foot on the floor, knee not going past, and then I can really rotate. Pressing the palms together. I'm using my elbow onto the upper thigh to get a little bit more twist here. And again, you can also just drop that back knee. No matter what variation we're taking one more round of breath. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. If we're in option 2, we're going to inhale, and we're going to exhale and frame that front foot. If we're in option 1, we're just going to drop that back knee if it was lifted, and we're going to fold over, framing our front leg. Coming up into fingertips, using your blocks as needed. Going back from a half split, toes reach on up, and then folding up on forward. Again, making sure we're not rounding our spine. And then folding back and folding forward. For our half split, we're going to try and reach our heart forward. We're still finding that length, which might be a little bit difficult on this side. Might even have to lift the hands on up, or again use blocks, and then fold on forward. And just know that your left side and your right side might not be the same. I know that I'm definitely tighter on my left side, my non-dominant side. And then take my hands on the inside of the leg. And again, my knee is pressing into the upper arm, and my upper arm is like, no, and it's shooting on back. I'm going to roll my shoulders back, and I'm going to engage. Engage my core muscles here. So I'm finding length. And I can stay here, or I can turn my toes slightly out, 45-degree angle, lift my toes so that I have engagement and protection around my knees, and then I can come down onto my forearms. Again, for me, I would really have to reach into this because my left forearm is just not happening for me. So I'm going to stay up here today. Again, choosing what feels good for your practice. Whatever that might look like for your practice, take a nice deep breath in. Take a nice deep breath out. Nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out. Inhale, lifting back on up if you're on your forearms, coming back up, framing that front foot, hand on either side. We're going to lift up those back toes, bend that back knee so that way we can spring that back leg forward, and then roll on up, vertebrae by vertebrae, arms reach, palms connect, exhale, and hand at heart center. All right, we're going to do standing balance. So I'm going to face this way just so you can see, but our arms are going to come out like a T. We're in mountain pose, feet right underneath the hips, and we're just going to alternate lifting our knee up, and we're going to draw it so that way it's at a 90-degree angle and our foot is flexed. There. And then we're just transferring our weight over and lift, okay? For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, bring the hands towards the hips. Feet are going to come towards each other, tree pose. So we're going to find our right knee bent. And again, I'm transferring my weight over towards the left. Be careful that you're not dumping your left hip out. I'm exaggerating right now. But really lift and elongate out of that standing supporting leg. And then 3 options here. Kickstand, just turn it on out, be on the ball of the foot. Take it to the inside of the calf. Or reach that foot past the knee to the inside of the thigh. Very important that it's not resting on the knee. We don't want to rest on our joints, especially not our knee. And then choosing whatever arms work for you. And if you want an added bonus challenge, see if you can close your eyes. That makes it a little bit harder. Your senses turned on and you're really taking into that 4 points of the foot. Maybe the toes are starting to wiggle. See if you can transfer your weight between the ball of the foot and the heel. And if that's too challenging, then see if you can bring a smile to the face. And if you fall out of it, no worries. Your tree will go again. Water it with positive thoughts. You got this. A nice deep breath in. No matter where you are in your tree pose, extend your leg out and exhale. Bring it on down. And then we're gonna do a little party dance. Really, this is just massaging your hips and letting loose. How many of you had a really stern and serious face on for your practice today? See if you can let it go. Woo. Shimmy, shimmy. I didn't get that nickname for nothing. All right, bring your feet together. Tree pose, Vrksasana on the other side. So we're gonna bend the left knee, make sure all of our weight is transferring and supported onto that right leg. So I'm not dumping into it, it's supported and it's strong. And then I'm gonna rotate it out, kickstand, inside of the calf, or again, avoiding the knee. We love our joints, especially our knee. And we're finding that length, we're lifting up, we're finding a drishti point, a point of focus that's eye level or a little higher, and something that's not moving. So if you have a pet joining you for your practice today and they're moving around, probably not something that you want to stare at, or else your tree's going to be moving with your pet. Find your breath. Close your eyes is an option. Find a smile. Oh. And then from here, wherever your tree pose is, you're going to extend the leg and bring it on down, throwing down that dance. Whatever that looks like on your mat. Whatever you need to do, just as long as you get those hips moving. Whatever works for you. And then once you've danced it out on your mat, you've let go, we're gonna face towards the front. Once more. Remember, we're gonna test our balance. And again, I caution, if you have any knee pain, then you're just gonna find your way down onto your mat in a transition that works for your practice today. We're gonna bend our knees first. And then from here, think about your heels reaching your sit bones. I'm really going to engage my core, and I really want to lengthen out through my torso. You can have your arms out in front of you. We're going to lift our heels on up, and then we're going to lower all the way down. See if you can hover a little bit until we come all the way down. We're going to drop our knees into what is called a toe squat. So our knees are together, and our pinky toes are included. This is not a pleasant pose. This is one where you're probably going to be like, how long am I here for? Why? But it's really going to open up and get into all those nerve endings in the bottom of our feet. Really good for increasing circulation through our feet. Again, if you're not feeling this for your knees, or you're like, this just is impossible for my body today, take easy pose, Sukhasana. We're going to take our arms out like a T. I'm going to face you so that way you can see what my arms are doing. Arms go out like a T. One is going to swoop on over and the other one's going to tuck underneath, so we're doing a nice little shoulder stretch. And again, you're either here or you can also be in Sukhasana, easy pose as well. You can also have your legs extended out on you. Think happy thoughts. I know it's hard. You can do it, I believe in you. And then we're going to open up and we're going to switch over towards the other side. Whoop and whoop underneath. Draw the shoulders down. Think happy thoughts. Now we're gonna come to a tabletop position and beat out the tops of our feet. We should feel really good. Our hands are right underneath our shoulders, knees hip distance apart. We're gonna go through a flow sequence of cat-cow into child's pose. Vidalasana into balasana. Inhale, look and gaze forward, chest droops down. Exhale, round the spine. Take that tailbone back towards the heels. Drop the forearms, swoop back to our starting position. Cow, cat, child's pose. 2 more of those, swoop on through. Inhale, exhale, round. Inhale, exhale, and come back up. All right. We're going to take both our knees together. We're going to walk our hands on over, and we're just going to face over towards this side. So we're going to move our hand out, and notice that I have space in between my fingers, so I'm not here, I'm here. Spirit fingers. And I really don't want to overextend or hyperextend my elbow here. And I'm definitely drawing space between my shoulder and my ear. I'm going to have my knees stacked on top of each other, and I'm going to lift my top knee. And I'm going to slide it so that way my foot is grounded, and then my other foot is just tucked right underneath. So for me, I started with my right knee stacked on top, so my right knee is lifted and my left ankle is tucked behind. And then I'm going to start with my palm facing up. And what's going to happen is I'm going to move into a modified version of a side plank. There's 2 ways to go about doing this. Is that we're going to lift up for option 1. We're going to lift up our hip, and then I'm going to extend my top leg straight, and then my arm's going to come up and overhead. And then I tuck my hip down, and I slide my leg on in, and I boom back at my starting position. So I'm over 1, and I'm back down 2. Really reaching out of that lower oblique, lifting up, lifting back down. If you want an added challenge, then you would straighten both legs. So I'd straighten, and then I'd bring it back in and down. Straighten, and that leg just kind of straightens on through, and then I bring it back down. All right, whatever variation that you choose for your practice, we're gonna do 5 more. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. 3 more, you got this. Inhale up, exhale down. 2 more. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one, inhale up, exhale down. Nice, you guys roll into those wrists. Roll into the wrists the other way. And then we're going to switch and we're going to go over towards the other side. So my knees now move over towards the left side of my mat. My left knee happens to be the one on top. So it's going to lift, and my whole foot's going to go flat onto the ground. My right ankle is tucked behind. And then my hand's going to be a little bit more out. That provides so that way when I lift, my shoulder is going to be stacked right over my wrist. If I was to start with my hand really close, that would make this really awkward on my shoulder, and I don't want that to happen. Make sure you're not hyperextending. And then from here, palm reaches up, and I'm really reaching out of that lower oblique. Again, I'm going to show you the first option, and that is to come lift up through that lower hip, and then my back ankle slides so that way my ankle is in line with my knee, and then I extend my leg, and that whole thing slides down and my hip drops. Okay, so that's option 1. Option 2 is I'm sliding out and straightening out my bottom leg, and my other leg is just rotating up, and I'm really finding that arching position, lifting my hips, and then bringing it back down to where I started. Lift and down. No matter what variation you're taking, we're gonna do 5. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, 1. Bringing it on down, and again, rolling out those wrists. Rolling out our wrists, go the other way. We're gonna find ourselves on our stomachs. I'm gonna face the other way. It's just good to have different facings on your mat. Honoring north and south, east and west. And from here, we're gonna have our hands right underneath our shoulders, and our legs are gonna be straight behind us. You can have a narrow stance, exactly like how you were when you were standing for mountain pose, or if you feel like you might have a little compression in your lower back, then I suggest feet to go a little bit wider than your mat, taking a wider stance, and that'll take away some of that. We're gonna roll our shoulders back. We're gonna do a baby cobra pose. We're gonna inhale, and then we're gonna lift and lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Now change the breath. Take a nice deep breath in, and exhale, lift, inhale, lower down. Notice if that changes your movement quality. Does your exhale give you a little bit more lift than the inhale did? Or for you, does it work better to inhale and lift on the other side? Everybody's gonna have a different preference. All right, we are going to take our fingertips to reach out. In yin, we call this crocodile pose. We're just gonna relax our forehead onto our forearms. And then we're gonna lift one leg, hovering up into the air, and then we're gonna lower it down. Lift the other leg, and lower it down. Alternating, until finally we might have a kick going on. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sliding those hands right underneath those shoulders. Bringing those feet back in if they were out wide. Lifting on up into a tabletop position. Take the knees out as wide as the edges of your mat, unless it's a big round mat. And then take your big toes together, reaching on back, child's pose. And again, you can take the modified variation, laying on your back, hugging your knees in if needed. If you find that you're in this position for child's pose, you can always use blocks or stack 2 fists on top of each other to meet your third eye. Taking one round of breath here, nice slow deep breath in. Nice slow deep breath out. Nice slow deep breath in. Nice slow deep breath out. Nice slow deep breath in. Nice slow deep breath out. Inhale, lift on up, and we're going to turn our knees back over on one side, and we're going to lay on down onto our side. We're going to take our lower hand. For me, that's going to be my right. I'm just going to reach it so that way it's supporting behind my head. I can have that knee bent here, or I can have my arm straight. It's entirely up to you. Then I'm going to have my one hand out in front, in line with my shoulders. It's really going to be activated here, so my elbow's in line with my wrist. And then I'm going to straighten my legs. I might have my legs at a little bit of an angle towards the side of my mat, just for stability wise. And we're gonna flex both feet, and I'm gonna provide a little bit of space in between my legs. My lower leg is actually gonna hover just a little bit. I'm gonna lift my leg up, and I'm gonna lower it back down, just hovering at that mountain pose variation for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to point my top foot, and I'm going to draw little circles. Remember to breathe. And then I'm going to change, and I'm going to go the other way. Little circle. And then lower back down. And then I'm going to see if I can do that whole thing on the other side. For you guys, you might even just fold on over and go onto the other side, just so that way you can stay seeing me. I'm gonna just turn over and go on the other side. So again, I can have that lower arm, that elbow be bent, or I can have it straightened. For me, I like to have it straightened. Hand out in front. This is for stability, so that way you're not falling forward. Hand is going to be in line with my shoulder, elbow reaching up in line with wrist. And I'm going to straighten my legs. Again, if you're like, oh, falling backwards, have it at a slight angle. Think like 45-degree out. So we're going to lift on up, we're going to flex our foot, and we're going to hover for 5, 4. My bottom leg is an inch off the ground. 2, and my feet are flexed. 1. Point now that top foot, draw little circles. See if you can keep that balance on the side of the body. Change the breath, change the rotation. Draw the circle the other way. Find a little lift, flex the feet, and bend the knees and release. Press into the ground to lift on up and bring our legs back to our starting position where we're now towards the top of our mat. Same thing that we did at the beginning of class. Our arms are going to be out like a T. My arms are going to be more like a V just because I can't. And if you're the same way, if you're like, there's a wall right next to my yoga mat, you can also do a V. But from here, we're going to contract that same beach ball shape with our arm. And then we're going to think about that same shape we made in cat pose. And we're going to round, round, round. My navel and my lower back is reaching down, 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 down. I'm going to come all the way down. My arms are either going to stop here or going to float overhead. And then I'm going to tuck chin to chest, round, 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 round. Use my core, come back up, and then I extend straight back into the V. Doing that 2 more times. Round, 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 round. Unravel spine. Arms come up overhead. Tuck chin to chest. Round, 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 round. Find length, open, and expand up. Last one. Round. Lift. Round. Extend up. And float on up. From here, we're going to take a little bit backwards. We can hold on to our hamstrings if we need to. And then we can use our hands to support and lift alternating, or we can have our arms out and pulsating down, pressing that air down as we lift and alternate for 10, 9. Keep that length through the spine so there's no more rounding here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold on to the hamstrings again. Find a little bit more length. Round through the spine and roll, roll, roll back. Bringing the knees on in towards the chest and take the knees in a circle. Change your breath. Change that rotation. Go the other way. All right, we're going to plant our feet. This is called a floating bound angle pose. Sometimes it's referred to as floating butterfly. But we're going to lift our hips up just a little bit so that way we can slide our hands right behind us. Roll the shoulders back, and then we're going to place our sit bones right on top. So essentially we're almost sitting on our hands depending on the length of your arms. Our thumb is connected and our pointer finger is reaching, so it's kind of almost making like this triangle shape right underneath. And then from here, we're going to take the pads of our feet towards each other and then open and connect them coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined angle pose in yoga, except it's floating. It's floating now. So this is option 1. Option 1 is to stay here. Reach the pads of the feet towards each other as you get that external rotation in the hips. Or we press down through our hands and now we press our hips on up and now we're really floating. It's like a cross between fish pose, bridge pose, and bound angle, all rolled into one. Lifting and holding, option 2, or just relax into it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower down the hips back onto the support of the hands. And then we're going to lift up the knees just an inch. Really press the feet together. You might notice a little shaking in the legs. Lift the knees up just another inch. Press the feet together. And then lift on back up. Take the feet hip distance apart. Lift the hips up so that way you can release your hands on down. We're going to take our feet out wide, knees touching. So now we have internal rotation getting on the outside of the hips. Just taking 2 rounds of breath. Nice slow deep breath in. Nice slow deep breath out. Nice slow deep breath in. Nice slow deep breath out. Inhale, heel toe, the feet back in. A little bit of space in between the knees once more. We're going to bring in our right knee in towards our chest. Take the hands around the shin and circle the ankle. Change your breath, change that circle. Extend the leg up towards the sky, reclining big toe pose. Flex and point. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that flex. Bend the knee. And release. Come into the other side. Left knee in, hands around the shin. Circle the ankle. Change your breath. Change that rotation. Begin to extend, reclining big toe pose. Hands towards the hamstring. Can we flex and point? Relax the back of the head, the shoulder blades for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Begin to bend the knees, both in, hands release around the shins, and then release down and extend the legs up towards the sky. Dorsiflex, toes reach back towards you. Extend the feet wide, maybe wider than the hips. Coming back in happy baby pose, whether that's holding on to hamstrings, calf, or reaching on the inside and then the outside for the feet. Relaxing the shoulders, back of head, and also the tailbone. So notice if you're scooping up. If you're scooping up, then change the bind. It might be that you're that you might want to reach towards the calf or the hamstring instead for today. And then just rock from side to side, massaging out the hips, but also the back, the torso. And then come into any other postures, asana for your practice today is release. And then settle into Shavasana. And to take the palms facing up, shoulders rolling back. We're going to be contracting muscles and then releasing. So we're going to make a funny face. We're going to scrunch up our face. We're going to try and get maybe our eyebrows to scrunch. Maybe clench the jaw. And then exhale, release. Just allow the face to soften. Allow there to be a little bit of space between the upper and lower jaw. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, release shoulders away from the ears. Lifting hands, clenching, making a fist so our muscles and our arms engage. And then exhale, soften, palms open up to receive, to let go. Engage the glutes. And then as you exhale, soften and release. Flex the feet and then take the heels down towards the ground. So now our legs are activated.
And then when you exhale, just allow the feet to flop open. Relaxing the whole right side of the body, the whole left side of the body, the whole body relax. Just take this time for your practice, for yourself. And find three thoughts of gratitude. See if you can allow the edges of the mouth to curl to create a smile. Bring that positive energy and rain it down from the crown of your head all the way down to the toe. So that each muscle is getting a little piece of that positive energy you created with your thoughts, with a smile. And if you want to stay here a little bit longer, you can pause the video. Maybe you have a classical soundtrack or a relaxing soundscape that you like to listen to. Maybe just stay and linger here for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, begin to bring movement back to the body by wiggling fingers and toes. Begin to hug one knee in and the next. One arm reaches up overhead and then fold over, dropping the knees on your side. Just taking this time for yourself. And then press into the earth to come up to a comfortable seat, back in easy pose. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your yoga practice. The light in me honors that positive light within each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you.